Hey there, buddy. I'm thrilled you wandered into my little corner of the internet. If this is your first visit, hit that subscribe button and share this video with your crew. It's like giving my channel a big high five. And hey, let me know in the comments where in the world you're watching from. I read every single one. Now buckle up, let's dive in. That Friday evening, I walked in expecting nothing more than a quiet dinner and maybe a movie before bed. Instead, I stepped into our bedroom and froze. Both closet doors stood wide open, and Gwen was shoving clothes into two oversized suitcases with quick, practiced movements. She didn't even glance my way. "What's going on?" I asked, watching her wrestle with a half-zipped bag. "I'm leaving tonight. Don't try to stop me," she said, her voice flat, like she'd been rehearsing the line all week. "You're leaving? Where exactly?" "I'll be staying with a friend until I figure things out." She still wouldn't meet my eyes. "Henry, I need more from life than this." "This?" I motioned around us. "What's so wrong with this? This house, this boring routine, you. I can't keep living like this." She spoke like she was reading from a script. "Then let's at least talk about it. We could—" "No," she cut in sharply. "I'm done." I let a long pause hang between us. She was waiting for me to plead, to argue, to make promises. But instead, I said calmly, "All right." That caught her off guard. She turned to me. "All right? That's all you've got? You've made up your mind. If you've already decided it's over, what would I even be fighting for?" Her jaw tightened. "Fine. Don't say I didn't give you a chance." She yanked the zipper closed, grabbed both bags, and brushed past me without another glance. I stood at the window until her car's red taillights disappeared. As soon as she was gone, I picked up the phone. "Darren, it's Henry," I said when my lawyer answered. "Gwen just walked out. Tell me how to protect myself." He didn't hesitate. Cut off her access to my accounts, change the locks, make a list of everything she left behind. By midnight, her cards were canceled. A locksmith was scheduled for the morning. If she thought I'd sit around while she decided whether I was worth keeping, she was in for a surprise. The truth is, this hadn't come out of nowhere. For 8 months, Gwen had been slowly turning into someone I barely recognized. When we first married, she worked full-time at a marketing firm, came home laughing about ridiculous office gossip, and actually enjoyed our quiet weekends. Then, almost overnight, she quit her job, saying she wanted something less stressful. She picked up part-time hours at a boutique and spent the rest of her days glued to Instagram, TikTok, and endless chats with her single friends. It started small, comments about how exciting their lives looked. Soon, she was comparing everything we had to what she thought they had. Better apartments, better trips, more freedom. She began going out more, first happy hours that ran late, then all-night girls' nights. More than once, I woke up to an empty bed and a text saying not to wait up. One night, I saw a message from Vincent pop up on her phone. I remembered him, an old co-worker who'd always been a little too friendly. "Who's Vincent?" I asked. "It's just Vincent," she said with an eye roll. "We're catching up. Don't be paranoid." "Paranoid? Because my wife is having late-night conversations with some guy from work?" "You're being controlling, Henry. It's not attractive." That shut down the conversation, but from then on, I paid closer attention. The laughter that used to be mine now lived in her text threads with other people. Her phone was always face down. By the time I saw her packing, I already knew. This exit had been in the works for months. Maybe with Vincent waiting in the wings. Maybe with someone else. What she didn't realize was that I wasn't the kind of man to chase after someone halfway out the door. Her walking out wasn't a tragedy, it was confirmation. By Saturday morning, her plan had already started to unravel. Around 9, my phone rang. I let it buzz twice before answering. "What did you do?" she snapped. "Good morning," I said evenly. "My cards aren't working. I tried to get gas and the payment was declined in front of everyone. Those cards are in my name. You were just an authorized user. I removed you. You can't just cut me off from money?" "Actually, I can. You told me you were moving out and not to stop you. I'm honoring your choice." There was a pause. Then her tone softened. I never said I wanted a divorce, I just needed some space. Packing 2 suitcases and walking out isn't space, it's leaving. This is ridiculous. I still have rights as your wife. Rights to what? You left on your own. She hung up. 10 minutes later, the phone rang again. This time it was Sandra, one of her closest friends. Henry, it's Sandra. We need to talk about Gwen. Do we? She's upset. She feels like you're punishing her. She told me she was done. I'm taking her at her word. She just needs time to think. You should meet her, talk it over. You mean like you've been telling her for months, urging her to see what else is out there? I cut in. Silence. Sandra, I know you've been in her ear, saying she's wasting her life being married. Well, now she's free. You got what you wanted. That's not fair. What's not fair is encouraging my wife to walk away, then acting shocked when I don't chase her. I ended the call before she could get another word in. By noon, it hit me. Gwen had counted on me losing my cool, chasing after her, maybe even begging her to come home. Instead, I kept my composure, and I could already tell it was unsettling her. The following Wednesday, the doorbell rang 3 sharp times, followed by loud pounding. I glanced through the front window and spotted her on the porch, hair thrown into a messy bun, wearing the same jacket from the night she left. Henry, open up, we need to talk, she called. I stayed where I was. She dug through her bag, pulled out an old house key and tried the lock twice before realizing it didn't work. Tossing her hands in the air, she started pounding again. That's when my neighbor John wandered over from his driveway. Everything okay here? He asked, looking from me at the window to her on the steps. Tell him to let me in, Gwen said sharply. He locked me out of my own house. John raised an eyebrow. Didn't you just tell me last weekend you were glad to be free and ready for something new? Her cheeks turned red. I was just venting. I didn't mean it like that. That's exactly what you said, John replied. You even laughed about finding someone more interesting. She turned toward me, clearly irritated. That's being taken out of context. I stepped outside but went toward John instead of her. Appreciate you checking, man. We're fine. Gwen moved in front of me quickly. Henry, please, I made a mistake. Can we just talk? There's nothing left to say. You told me not to stop you, and I didn't. Her voice shook. I didn't think it would end up like this. Maybe you should have thought about that before you walked away. John shifted awkwardly. I'll leave you two to it. I went back inside and locked the door. She lingered on the porch for a few minutes, then left. By Saturday, she had changed her approach, going through my family. My mom called that morning. Henry, I just heard from Gwen, she said. What did she want? She claims you locked her out, canceled her cards, and won't speak to her. Is that true? Yes, because she left. That was her choice. My mother stayed steady. Then she'll have to live with it. I told her I'm not getting in the middle. An hour later, my sister Elaine texted, Gwen just called me crying. I told her to stop. I almost laughed. Gwen wasn't used to running into brick walls. That afternoon, another knock came. This time she'd brought her older brother, Martin, who already looked uncomfortable. Henry, he began, we just want a conversation. Gwen knows she overreacted. Overreacted? I leaned on the doorframe. She packed her bags and told half the neighborhood she was better off without me. That's not overreacting. That's making a choice. Gwen's eyes dropped. Vincent wasn't who I thought he was. I realize I messed up. So you left thinking there was someone better, and now that it's fallen apart, you want back in? That's not fair, she shot back. What's not fair is walking out without even trying to fix things, then expecting me to start over when it suits you. Martin lifted his hands. I'm just here for my sister. I get that, but my answer's still no. Gwen's voice tightened. So 3 years. Just gone. No, Gwen. You ended it the night you left. I'm just honoring your decision. Martin sighed and they turned to go. She didn't glance back. A month passed with no contact. I figured she had finally accepted it. Then my lawyer, Darren, called one Tuesday. Her attorney had suggested marriage counseling instead of moving forward with the divorce, apparently her parents' idea. They wanted her to either patch things up or stand on her own. Darren said it didn't seem to be about love. She'd been bouncing between friends' couches and her parents' house, picking up occasional shifts at the boutique and struggling to keep the lifestyle she once had. The house was never part of the discussion. It was mine before the marriage and still in my name. When she left, she only took what fit in her suitcases. The rest stayed where it was. It was obvious she wanted back the comfort she'd thrown away, a place that no longer belonged to her. Darren's advice was simple. Stick with the plan unless I had a real reason to change it. I didn't. Later that week, she sent me one text. "We could fix this if you'd just talk to me." I ignored it. Darren filed the final papers. I didn't feel victorious, just sure. This was the only road forward. When you've shared years with someone, it's easy to remember the good moments and wish you could go back. But I couldn't forget her telling me she was done, or the look on her face when she said not to stop her. That wasn't a slip in anger. It was a choice. And choices have consequences. In just 3 months, it was over. No heated arguments, no dramatic last words, just a stack of papers, a few signatures, a stamp, and that was the end. Elaine, a friend we both knew, later mentioned that Gwen had moved back in with her parents in a small town a couple of hours away. She'd quit working at the boutique, the cost of gas made it impossible, and had taken a steady job at a call center. When the legal part was wrapped up, she sent me one last message. "I hope you know I never wanted to hurt you." I didn't bother replying. There wasn't anything left to say. The house had a new atmosphere. Peaceful, still. I no longer walked in bracing for an argument, or hearing her getting ready for another night out that would end in the early hours. A few weeks later, I met Renee. 32, a nurse, owns her own place, takes care of herself. We started with coffee, then moved on to dinner, and I was surprised by how easy it felt. No games, no tension, just being with someone who didn't see love as a competition. When I told her a little about my marriage, she shook her head and said, "Sounds like she kept you on the back burner while she explored her options." "That's exactly it," I replied. I could still picture Gwen that night, standing beside the half-packed suitcases, delivering her lines like she'd rehearsed them. She had expected me to fall apart, to make desperate promises. But I'd already spent months trying to keep us together by being loyal and patient. And in a single evening, she walked out. The biggest lesson I carried from it? When someone tells you they're leaving, believe them. Don't chase, don't beg, just step aside. Because if you truly mattered to them, they wouldn't be walking away in the first place.